Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. I've just come in with a little bit of a surprise here. Actually, let me just close down some tabs just in case they might interfere with things. We don't want anything affecting the stream. I'll just close down that one as well. Right. So this is another little kind of like Monday surprise. And I was just thinking, my goodness, I need to kind of update people on some important astrological things that are going on right now. And what this show is about, and of course, I'm doing a live, so of course, feel free to ask your questions as well in the live chat and everything like that. You guys wouldn't have been expecting me, but I can see quite a few of you are piling in already, so that's good. And so this show is going to be about the Saturn retrograde. Yeah, Saturn retrograde. Yeah, I've got my notes here. Going to tell you about the portions of the sky that is in. And then I'm briefly going to go over how it affects the different ascendants and stuff like that, what your rising sign, the areas of life that could be affected. We're also going to look again at the USA chart as well to help explain things of what is going on. So straight off the bat, what I want to say is this, is that let me know if you are feeling exhausted, tired, possibly overwhelmed, and just feeling like you don't have your usual oomph. Yeah, your usual oomph. You're just feeling a bit, yeah. You look at the news, you see everything, and you feel flat. Yeah, flat as a doormat. And as you know, as you guys know, I'm a very, very optimistic person. But I have been feeling slightly like a flat tire of late. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world, isn't there? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of craziness going on. But I often have to remind myself, because as you know, I'm an astrologer. I'm there, doing all my things with the planets all the time. And I almost always forget. Around this time of year, I start to feel a bit flat. Just feel like, oh gosh, where's my usual motivation and energy and vim and zip and all of this kind of stuff? And what I forget is this is around about the time when Saturn goes retrograde. Saturn goes retrograde pretty much every summer. I mean, as the years progress and as we have precession of the equinoxes, etc., it will happen, later and later. But he normally goes retrograde in July. Yeah, depending where he is, what signs he's in, of course. But anyway, July. Let me give you the precise dates. He's going to be goes retrograde on July 13th to the 28th of November. Yeah, so he's going to be retrograde for a long time. So if we just count July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, so call it about 4 months, 4.5 months. There or thereabouts. It's always 4 to 5 months Saturn goes retrograde. And when he's going retrograde, remember, whenever a planet goes retrograde, it means whatever it represents, it means review, revise, reassess, recalibrate, looking at things. Yeah, looking at things. And what does Saturn represent? Saturn represents government, infrastructure, rules, regulations, business as well. He's also a planet of business, just like Mercury and Venus are. But he also deals with our trials and tribulations, our tasks, our duties. And in Vedic astrology, when a planet is retrograde, it's technically closer to the Earth. Yeah, it's still moving forward. It's just that we are overtaking. In terms of our orbit around the sun, we're overtaking Saturn, which is pretty easy because Saturn is a slow moving planet. Yeah, spends 2.5 years in a sign. So it means he's moving back in terms from our vantage point here on Earth, looking up in the sky. And it feels very heavy when Saturn is retrograde. So it can be a very, very heavy energy, particularly when he's standing still. And a planet stands still before it goes retrograde. And Saturn's been standing still for, I think, almost a couple of weeks now. Let's call it a week and a half to be on the safe side. So what is the energy of Saturn is very, very strong. And Saturn is a planet of what? Pressure, reality. You know, I've been talking a lot about reality checks and all of that kind of stuff. And my goodness, aren't we all getting a reality check? And some even more than others. Yeah, particularly if they saw themselves as friends of Duck L'Orange. You know who I mean. In terms of voting and stuff like that. My God, the slaps, yeah, that are coming there. Very, very, very difficult realities those people are dealing with. When Saturn, when a planet goes retrograde and it starts to pick up speed, it eases a little bit. But this time is the most difficult time. So some of you may be feeling very flat, very heavy. You're communicating with me in the chat. Let's just read some of these out. And then, so here, Tammy says, I'm usually very optimistic, but lately I've been feeling kind of off. Yeah, this would have started in like a couple of weeks ago. Saturn has just started to go, yeah, and now he's standing there and he's like, boom, boom, yeah, this pressure, pressure, pressure. So we're all feeling a bit flat, yeah. 11 Kabaja says, yes, I got up from trying to take a nap, but my head won't let me. Yeah, I've been, have you been struggling with your sleep as well? Mine's been very in and out, very, very, very in and out. The authentic actor says, hi, Hoagie, I'm Amber from Texas. I feel so heavy. And of course, look what's happened in Texas recently with that river flooding, yeah, which is obviously awful. It's a tragedy. Was it 20 children? I think perished or are gone. So what's it? Nearly 70 something people dead or something like that. No warning, of course, and we all know why that is. Yeah, we all are. But you see, this is the harshness, yeah, of the reality check. Let's just see who else is in here. So Cami Y saying hello to everyone. Jews Nuts says, feeling so tired these days. Is it me or is it the energies? It's definitely the energies. Yeah, we're all feeling, oh, you know, flat. Angela's here. Nice to see you. And Cindy Lou says, hey, Hogalicious. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Look, you gave me a smile there. You gave me a lift. And we've got here, good day, Space Girl. Hi, Hoagie and everyone, and love from down under. Nice to see you. And then Tammy says, I so need this. I've been on the phone for over 4 hours trying to get my email to work again. It's been down for a month. Oh, my goodness. Bless you. Rebecca said, I've been feeling flat today. Diane Cady says, hello, Hogarth. Got that beautiful picture of that glorious horse. And Brenda Allen saying yes. So, yes, so this is part of it. And what I would say is, even if you're not that into astrology, and of course, many of you who watch my channel are obviously interested in astrology, in astrology, but even if you're not aware of it, we all feel it. Obviously, people like me, because I'm doing the astrology all the time, I forget just how much the planets affect me. And what I learned years ago, back in the old days, particularly in Vedic astrology, they would listen to their bodies, and their bodies would let them know when certain planets were, you know, direct, retrograde, etc. And you do feel it the more you tune in. But if you're an empath, pardon me, if you're a very sensitive person in general, your antennae will pick up on these energies. Even if you're not that into astrology, you will just feel the shifts. So this retrograde even though it's for a few months, when Saturn starts to pick up speed going backwards, we will feel a little bit better. It's not going to be quite as heavy, but when Saturn is standing still and the first week or two of the retrograde, my goodness, you just feel like the sheets on your bed are weighing you down. That kind of feeling. Nina saying feeling off, but I can't figure out why. Angela's asking, please, you could ask the card if Putin will be out of power soon. I may not do so much tarot on this one because I do want to do a bit of astrology for everyone. Of course, I'm an astrologer after all. We'll see. And then Sandy Miller saying, tired, exhausted, and muscles hurt. Being so, from being so tense. Yeah. And then last few days been so much better, but before that, exactly as you described, yeah, Regina is saying it's energy, and it's happening in the collective, in the collective. And then Wendy's saying I'm feeling very empty and helpless. Yeah. And then Mark C saying, wow, Hogarth, I'm feeling so flat and nothing inspires me. Yeah, it is. At this time of year, you feel like a flat pancake. So it will improve, everyone. I mean, we know we've got the whole grimness of what is going on politically, of course, in the USA, which is just bad enough on its own. But with this intense moment of this Saturn retrograde, we're really going to be feeling very flat for a while. So it'll be for a few weeks, and then as Saturn picks up speed going retrograde, we'll still be looking at the madness going on, but we're not going to feel perhaps quite as heavy. Yeah. So let me give you a little bit of detail about the nakshatras that Saturn is in and what is being activated in the collective unconscious. And then I'm going to briefly go through the ascendants just to give you guys an overview of, like, depending which sentence you are, ascendant you are, of course, in Vedic. Remember, if you are if you're into tropical astrology, you take 24 degrees off all your placements. So you move everything back by 24 degrees, and that will show you where you are in Vedic. I'm working on getting a little free chart calculator on my website. I've just written to some people. I've been meaning to do it for years. So retrogrades, yeah. So remember, what are they all about? Review, revise, reassess, recalibrate. It's that do-over phase. This is the time to revisit things, do things over, or actually work on new plans. Not necessarily publish new plans quite so much. It's about reviewing, revising, building something. Yeah, maybe in the background. As you guys have seen recently, I've been extraordinarily busy while the planets were direct. Before the nodes of the moon changed signs, you saw I updated my website, did all of these different things, gave everything a revamp. Now the Saturn is retrograde, so we're feeling this heavier energy, this push. But it's also a great time to work on things. So of course I am working on new courses. Yeah, so I'm going to be creating courses, yeah, in the not too distant future. I'm literally working on that right now, and when those are ready, you know, they'll be out to the public. But this is the perfect time to be working on things like this: spiritual work, internal work, reflection, all of that stuff. Okay, so let's get into some of the detail. Then I'll get through all of this, and then I might pull one or two tarot cards for you on certain subjects at the end. But I want this to be more astrology dominant at the moment because it's affecting all of us. And I want to look at the USA chart as well. Yeah. So at the moment, well, Saturn is going to go retrograde at 7 degrees and 43 minutes of sidereal Pisces. Yeah, remember, I'm a neo-Vedic astrologer, so I'm reading the planetary placements from the true placements of the stars. Yeah, in Western tropical, they have Saturn in Aries, but in terms of its astronomical position, in terms of astrophysics, It's actually in the constellation of Pisces. So the current, and then it's basically, it's going to go, it's currently in a section of Pisces, which is called Uttara Bhadrapada. Yeah? Uttara Bhadrapada. And it's going to retrograde, go backwards into Purva Bhadrapada. Purva means first or former. Uttara means latter. Yeah. So when Saturn was going direct, it moved through Purva Bhadrapada, which comes ahead of Uttara Bhadrapada. Yeah. And now he's stopped and he's going to retrograde back through Uttara Bhadrapada and go back into Purva Bhadrapada. Do you see? So he's stopped and he's going to go backwards. So what is Uttara Bhadra? Let's talk about Purva Bhadrapada and this energy that's coming back in again. So it goes from 20 degrees of Aquarius to 3 degrees 19 minutes of Pisces. Yeah, these are the sidereal positions, and it is a Jupiter ruled nakshatra. So this theme has already come up, but we're going to be revisiting this. Yeah. So there's the deity here, which is called Aja Ekapada, and it's basically the one-footed goat. I know this might sound all a bit, crazy, but it's literally to do with the strike of lightning. Yeah, strike of lightning. So it deals with sudden flashes of insight and spiritual awakening, but also the shock of the new and uncomfortable truths. The impacts of technology, I've added here, and insights into our true nature and seeking liberation. The shadow of this nakshatra is delusion and fanaticism. So what we're going through right now with Saturn going through this part of the sky, we're having a lot of what? Sudden revelations, shocks and surprises, which we've seen already, particularly with Uranus's transit through Taurus on the star Algol. But Saturn's been doing his part as well. A lot of people have been what? Shocked by revelations. If we think in terms of, look what's happening with ICE. Yeah. Wow. A lot of people being shocked with that. But it's not only that, a lot of people that voted for Doc Larange are really now starting to find out. Yeah, we've been talking, everyone on YouTube, as you know, has been talking about FOFA. I won't really break that down, but we all know what that means. Yeah. So there is a lot of FOFA going on. Yeah. One shock after the other, 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 particularly those who may have been very much asleep. Yeah. Or fanatical or delusional. Yeah, they're being woken up. For those of course, you guys watching me, you're already awake. Yeah, which is why you like this content. But unfortunately, not much of the world is. Yeah. So we're going, Saturn is going to go, as he goes retrograde, he's going to go back into Purva Bhadrapada. Yeah. He'll go there and then he'll return to Uttara Bhadrapada. So what's Uttara Bhadrapada about? So Uttara Bhadrapada goes from 3 degrees 20 minutes to 16 degrees 39 minutes of sidereal Pisces. At the moment, Saturn is at 7 degrees, 7 degrees 43 minutes of sidereal Pisces. So he's still in Uttara Bhadrapada. So I'm going to speak to you what the energies of that is about. So the deity here is called Ahir Budnya, and this is the serpent of the deep. So the previous deity was like a deity of the lightning deity of the sky, the shock coming down. This deity is the serpent of the deep, having to go into the spiritual depths. So the symbol of this nakshatra is the double-faced man, and so is Purva Bhadrapada. But think about it, the double-faced man. Both of these nakshatras can talk about someone who is two-faced or speaks out of both sides of their mouth. That can be part of the shadow. think in terms of politically what is going on, where we've had a lot of two-faced betrayal action going on. Sound familiar? When we think of those people that voted for the bill, obviously Duck Larange Trump is an obvious one. We all know that he's a two-faced liar. But for some people, it was a surprise. Can you believe it? But think of all of the people that voted for the big, beautiful bill, for example. Absolutely two-faced. Oh, yeah, most of them went on with it. But one or two was like, oh, I oppose this bill and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Do you remember that certain, what is it called? That certain senator from Alaska? Oh, I'm very worried about the bill. And then what did she do? Yeah, she basically dropped the rest of America, millions of people in it, just to save her own skin back home. Yeah, so we see there's also this two-faced quality there, which can exist in Sidereal Aquarius and Sidereal Pisces. Yeah, is that making sense? But anyways, so, and both these nakshatra, the Purva is the front legs and Uttara is the back legs of the funeral cot. So there is this element here. There's can be sometimes quite a lot of tragedy in this nakshatra. And there's a star as well in this nakshatra called Sheet, which can deal with watery tragedies, quite literally watery tragedies. And we've just had one now in Texas. Yeah, right now in Texas, what, a day or two ago. Yeah, with Saturn on, because the star Sheet is around about, I think it's around about 7 degrees of Sidereal Pisces. Let me just double check. Where is it? Oh no, actually Sheet is actually at 4 degrees 22 minutes, but still very close orb. But it deals with water events, tragic water events. Yeah, being triggered, and Saturn is going to go back over that degree. Yeah, in the next few weeks, so everything is feeling a bit heavy and stuff like that. So I just wanted to explain. But here with Uttara Bhadrapada, so it's going deep into the depths, profound revelations. Here we search deeply into ourselves, our motives and our choices, and weigh them up. Here we learn how our personal choices impact the collective. Yeah. So a lot of people are now realizing how their personal choices have impacted the collective. Does that make sense? If I just explain it that way, I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? But you can see Saturn is in this nakshatra right now. It's still in Uttara Bhadrapada, and it will retrograde into Purva Bhadrapada. But do you see how both these themes have been playing out, of shocks, surprises, revelations, but then realizing how one's decisions impact others? A lot of people are realizing this for the first time, really deeply realizing it. Yeah. Particularly if you're from a certain demographic and you voted a certain way, and now your family members are being dragged off the streets by ICE. Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, wow. So I just wanted to give that little kind of context there. So this is an opportunity. Retrogrades also give us the opportunity to fix something, review, revise, reassess. Make something good, realize a mistake, and then try and improve. Yeah. But it can feel a little bit heavy because it's Saturn. Yeah. So I just wanted to give you that overview of the temperature of everything right now, why it feels, I mean, it's not just the policies as well, which are horrific, but there's also the energy. Yeah. The energy. Because it's nice to do a good old little deep dive into the astrology, isn't it? And just so we know collectively what is going on. I'm going to read out a few more comments, and then we're going to look at the ascendants, briefly look at that. And then I'll take, then we'll look a little bit at the USA chart, and then I'll take some questions afterwards. Yeah. So, oh, someone's in from Puerto Rico, Carmen Soto. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Let's just see here. Sharon is saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed by the fact that the world has gone mad and that we seem helpless in the face of such evil people who have so much power. Yes, it is tough. It's tough, isn't it? It's tough. I mean, I've been feeling that way myself. I'm like, oh my God, you know, this Pluto in Capricorn, which I've just been banging on about forever, and I don't mention it as much now because everyone's got the message, yeah. Oligarchy, yeah, oligarchy. But we're going to be looking at the USA chart, but these placements of the planets that I'll be showing are true for everyone in the world right now. So we're all going through this Pluto in Capricorn energy, which is why you see so much of this stuff playing out in the world. Let's just see here. And then Sandy Miller says they fund the hell out of crypto mining in Texas and never fix their grid. Wow. Mark C saying it's paradoxical. I'm feeling so uninspired, yet keep seeing 555. Yeah, numbers of change. Yes, everyone talks about the number 3 as a number of change, and it is. It's a wonderful number, but 5 really is a big number of change. So if you're seeing 555 everywhere, in a way that's like the angels or your guides letting you know that a big change is coming to your life. Yeah. Lama Brian is asking, when did Saturn go retrograde? He's standing still at the moment, but he officially goes retrograde on the 13th of July 2025, and will be still till November 28th, 2025, when he starts going direct. But really, he's still standing still. So he's been standing still for about at least a week or two. Yeah, he's really not been moving. He's been quite slow for at least a month. Let's see. Spiritual Hacks are saying there's only one solution to evil energy. That's to create loving energy, good energy. We will continue to feel this increase until 8th, and then things will start to acclimatize to the higher energy. Well, let's see. Someone here saying thank you, everyone, Mary. And then Lama's saying Tuesday through last Wednesday was rough. Yeah. But look, we got a positive one here. Angela is saying, I feel amazing after going gluten-free. Good for you. And you see, that's Saturn as well. Review, revise, reassess. Saturn, I'll let you guys know, that's just reminded me. Saturn deals with diets. A lot of people don't know this. Saturn is also associated with food, but his restrictions, yeah? Saturn is restrictions, separation, taking something away, reducing something. And you might think, oh, that doesn't sound very exciting, but it really helps on a diet. So if you guys, anyone here is watching who's thinking of going on a diet, definitely when Saturn is retrograde, you're going to find it easier to stick with it because you're going to be wanting to get rid of things anyway. Right. Okay. So let's just see here. We've got. So someone's saying here, Marcia. Oh, what a lovely picture, Marcia. Hi, Hogarth. In general, what happens for one who is born with Saturn retrograde during a Saturn retrograde period? Good point. For those who are born with Saturn retrograde, the irony is, in a way, you can kind of get more done. Yeah, but it's like it gives you an opportunity, because I would say planets that are retrograde, they have more karma on them. We have to work a little bit harder, yeah, to get to the depths of that planet. So anyone born with a retrograde Saturn, and Saturn starts going retrograde, see it as an opportunity to burn off more karma quickly, to get deeper insights into something. If you've really got things that need to be reviewed, revised, reassessed, definitely go for it. But the irony could be you might get more breakthroughs as well than the average person as well. Retrogrades can have quite mixed results in the chart. It doesn't always mean that one is going even more retrograde than everyone else. Quite often that retro is same for people born with Mercury retrograde as well. When Mercury is retrograde, sometimes their life can actually shoot forwards. So it's a mixed bag, but just see it as an opportunity to be able to burn off some karma, and definitely review, revise, reassess, simplify, look at what needs to be removed from your life, but also as well acts of charity. Saturn is also a planet of charity, of society, of humanity as well. So look at charitable works or groups and organizations that may need your help, maybe even doing a little bit of volunteering. That's a superb thing to do as well when Saturn is retrograde. Service to others really does actually help. It lifts it lifts our spirits when we help others. And just a bit more here, Beth saying, I'm a Capricorn with Capricorn rising, so I was wondering why I just wanted to escape into movies or sleep. Yeah, because you're ruled by Saturn, so this retrograde is like yeah, it feels like that. So of course, one of the things, you just want to hide under the covers, watch movies. And look, if you need to do that, if you need to eat half a tub of ice cream and just watch some kind of movies and stuff, do it. Yeah, because we're all feeling flat at this time. Do you know what I mean? We're all feeling it. Sharon says, what is FOFA? Okay, I'll explain. It means F around and find out. That's what it means. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that did FOFA. They were warned about FOFA. They did it anyway, and now they're what? Finding out. Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, it's brutal, but you know, this is where we are. Sandra Doe says, Hoagie explains everything 100%. Thank you. Right, okay, let's go into the ascendants because we're about halfway through the show. And just briefly, all right, and I've written it down here. For my membership, you'll be getting the scan of this little this information here, and then I'm going to do a private video for you guys where I just go into a little bit more detail into the ascendants and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right, so let's just start in the natural order of the zodiac. I know Pisces always goes last, but Aries has to go first. Yeah, it's the first one. So if you are Aries rising, and to an extent Aries moon as well, because where Saturn's transiting from the moon, that can also be impactful. And of course, I'm talking about the sidereal placement. So if you're watching this and you're into Western astrology, take off 24 degrees of all your placements, and that's where they are in Vedic. Okay, so Aries rising or moon. Let me just see the time. 23, 28. 23, 28. So it means Saturn is going retrograde because it's in Sidereal Pisces. And if you're Aries, you're over here. So Saturn is going retrograde in your 12th house. Yeah, because Pisces is 12 places away from Aries. Yeah, makes sense. So this is 12th house themes of this Saturn going retrograde in your life. Remember, Saturn is the planet of reality, government, rules, regulations. So what a lot of this is about is for Aries is about letting go. You may not actually have a choice. Yeah. You may have to let go of stuff, even stuff you're really dearly wanting to hold on to. Saturn's going to be like, yeah, because it's a reality check. It's a review, a revise, a reassess. So letting go, far away travel, and endings. Even things to do with prisons, hospital. Oh, wow. Gosh, yeah, I forgot that. Prisons and hospitals, yeah. Think of a lot of people that are not only in hospitals, but in prisons or incarceration right now. So the shadow of the 12th house can literally mean incarceration or being taken away, sequestered. This is why it deals with retreats and ashrams, but it can also deal with prisons or concentration camps even. God, I wasn't expecting it to go that dark, but in light of what we're talking about, some people that are Aries rising could literally be going through, well, will literally be going through this right now. I'm sure many of those people that have been captured probably are Aries rising. Not just them, of course, but I mean, that could be literally playing out as a theme. But in general, this is about letting go. So doing a review and a revise of what to let go in your life. Yeah, what to let go in your life. There may even be people that you maybe need to say goodbye to or let go, or this might be a time for travel, yeah, getting away from it all. A lot of Americans, of course, have been like, you know what, I'm done, I'm leaving. Or this can mean a vacation, you know, you're just getting away, or getting close to the sea. So I'd recommend people that are feeling overwhelmed, that are Aries rising, go to bodies of water, lakes, the seaside, things like that. That would help calm you and relax you and just help you reflect on the things that you need to let go in life in order to move on. Yeah, so that's like a theme for Aries. Yeah, and let's see, what's 21. So Taurus. So for all Taurus people, so this could be Taurus rising or Taurus moon. So this Saturn retrograde is happening in the 11th house. Now the 11th house deals with so it deals with your friendships. So reviewing friendships, your big dreams, and elder siblings. Yeah. So Taurus people are, with this Saturn retrograde, will be re-evaluating their dreams, their hopes, their ambitions. They may be having their friendship circle change, or they may be reassessing their friends. Yeah, because maybe there's been some kind of reality check. Now, not all reality checks are bad, you know, they could be positive. Yeah, it might be like, wow, okay, I've got a really good set of friends. I really appreciate my friends. They're really helping me in this time. 11th house also deals with groups and organizations as well, of all different kinds and stuff like that. So, but for some people, they may be reviewing their friendships, and there may be some issues as well with the elder sibling. But all the Taurian people will be reviewing their hopes and their dreams and checking to see if they're still in alignment. Yeah. So I just thought I would mention that. All right. Next is 2. So Gemini. So for Gemini, either rising or moon, again from the Vedic positions, this is talking about your 10th house. Saturn's in your 10th house. Saturn loves being in the 10th house. He is one of the indicators of career. So for a lot of Gemini rising or moon, actually, I'm looking at this, I'm Gemini moon, I'm thinking of this. So this deals with purpose / career, how one is showing up in the world. So a lot of Gemini people are thinking about their careers, how they're showing up in the world, what kind of, many of them might be even changing jobs. As we know, there's been a lot of redundancies announced recently, or maybe they're one of the lucky ones and actually going into a new position, or they could have started a new job recently and now they're reflecting on the new job and kind of going like, oh, yeah, there can be that element there. Or they feel like they have a lot of work to do. Saturn really is that planet of work. So the Geminis might be working extra hard, or they just realize they have to do a lot of planning, a lot of detail-oriented stuff. But it's mainly about their career and their purpose. Yeah, and again, these are just short little overviews. I'll give more detail to my membership. Yeah, and you guys are due a video. It's been a little while. So let's look, of course, now at the sign of Cancer. All right, so 38, 20. Just making little notes for myself so it's easier for me to add timestamps, because I'm going to add timestamps to this video. All right, the Cancerians. So what's that talking about? This is for the Cancerian. Saturn is going retrograde in your 9th house. 9th house. So what's that talking about? This is talking about philosophies, education, travel, and Dharma. Now, as you guys know, I am a Cancer rising. So what am I working on? Of course, education. Yeah, how to provide more education of Neo-Vedic astrology to people and the world in general. You guys know that I've got my retreat coming up in IBIZA on this between the 7th to the 10th of November. So forgive me for a little plug there. But I hope you'll be joining me. But this is my passion, is teaching people about Neo-Vedic astrology. But if just Cancerians in general, it's going to be a lot to this. Is going to be a time to review, revise, reassess all things to do with education and travel as well, publishing. So you might be working, either you might be going back to school, or you're purchasing a new course or something like that, or you're like, I want to create a course for others, as is the case for me. This is a time as well to review, revise, reassess, go over all the detail, do the diligent hard work, look at your life path, your dharma. This is a time when Cancerians are really going to be finding out why they're here on earth. Yes, it's quite profound for the Cancerians. The ninth house is a lucky house, so in general it's going to give a very positive result. But this is also a time of tremendous depth. So if we remember at the top of the video where I was explaining about the nakshatras and how it's either the lightning from above or the serpent of the deep, we're all in this theme of reflection, but for Cancerians in particular, it's even more. And also as well, travel is going to be a big factor as well, going to foreign lands, learning foreign languages as well. Yeah, so Cancerians there. All right, so let's move on to the Leos. Let's see what's going on with the Leos. 14. 45. So for Leos, this is happening in the 8th house. Oh my goodness, yeah. So the Leos are getting lots of things to do with transformation, unexpected changes, investments, and other people's money. So this is quite intense for the Leos. Actually, I've got a very dear Leo friend of mine, Julie. You know who you are, and also some people in my Santa Fe chat. For the Leo risings, they're going through a lot of transformation right now. We know a certain Duck Larange is also a Leo as well, but look at the transformation he's imposing on others. 8th house can also, I call it the house of what? Sex, death, and rock and roll. So there's people are literally experiencing these things. Maybe not so much the rock and roll part, yeah, I don't think. But you know, so this is a time of transformation. For Leos, there may be things that are happening outside of your control, but try not to worry too much. Roll with it. Yeah, roll, embrace the transformation. This is also a very good time as well to explore the occult. Yeah, so astrology, tarot, psychology. Many of you might be start looking deeper into Freud, Jung, or any mythology, fairy tales. Anything that goes deep into the psyche is a great time for Leos, and you're going to be feeling naturally pulled in that direction. Yeah, so let's talk about Virgos. So for Virgos, you're getting this in the 7th house. Yeah, Saturn's going retrograde in your 7th house. So what's the themes of that all about? Relationships, business, marriage, and legalities. So for the Virgos, your life might be quite fine, but you might be seeing that your partner will potentially go through a lot of changes and a lot of transformation. So because the 7th house deals with marriage, but not everyone gets married, but it can also deal with business partners as well. So for Virgos, it might be coming more through the back door or the side door or the side window. Yeah, they're looking at their partners or their business partners' lives are changing a lot or rapidly. This can also, and so this is also reviewing and revising maybe some of your closest relationships. Yeah, so for the Virgos, you might really be looking at your marriage now and going, not sure about that. Yeah, or you might be looking at your partner or spouse and going, wow, thank God I've got that person in my life. Yeah, could be either or. For those that are single, you know, it's still your relationships in general. So this could be very, very good friends, close friends, or even like your work colleagues and stuff like that. So quite a lot of change for the Virgos, but it's very much those themes and legalities as well. There might be things to review, revise, reassess in terms of legalities, inheritances, even wills, contracts, that kind of thing. Yeah, all right, so let's take a look at Libra. So that's going to be 4410, let's call it that. All right, so for Libras, this is the Saturn retrograde is happening in your 6th house. So what's the general theme on that? So it deals with health reviews, changing routines and finding new work. Yeah, so sixth house deals with day job, work, all of that kind of stuff. But sixth house is also digestion and health. So if you're Libra rising, this is a very good time to potentially go on a diet, potentially to exclude foods that may be bothering you. Do you remember how I said Saturn deals with exclusional things, minimizing things? So you may find out, you know, that you're actually have an intolerance to something that you didn't know before, or maybe you have allergies and you finally figure it out, yeah, what the problem could be. This is also a good time as well for changing day job and stuff like that. So your day job may change, your routines may change, all of that kind of things. This is a good time as well if you've been dealing with someone difficult. This is a good time to review, revise, reassess a strategy around that. But this can also be an excellent time as well for fitness routines and just fixing things with health in general. Yeah, so that's there for the Virgos. Let's look at the Scorpios, who obviously have a lot of intensity in life. So let's look at that. So for the Scorpios, this is happening in your fifth house. Yeah, and thanks for staying with me, guys. I'll answer some questions after this, but just to get through. So fifth house deals with creativity, reviewing children, passions, and advice. Yeah, so this might be a crucial time if you do have kids where you're looking at their life. Maybe the choices that they're making right now, they may be coming to you for advice. Yeah, fifth house is giving consultation and advice to others as well. This will be a time of looking at what you do for the pleasure of it. The fifth house has a lot to do with having fun, taking chances, but Saturn deals with restrictions. So it could be, as we've seen in the Taurus industry, the US tourist industry, people aren't traveling. You know, Las Vegas is down. The fifth house is also a little bit like Las Vegas, where we take a gamble, where we take a chance. We see that Las Vegas has been emptying out. Yeah. So this might be where the Scorpios are maybe taking less risks. So I would say maybe take less risks at this time, but this is a great time to work on creative projects. Things that you've been wanting to do for a while, you can review, revise, reassess, but this is about making them solid and tangible. Yeah, that's what Saturn does. So look at that, and things as well to do with your children and those kind of things. So the next one after this, of course, is Sagittarius. And so with Sagittarius, what are the themes here? So this is happening in the fourth house. Yeah. Fourth house. Oh, wow. Over 400 of you right now. Now, this is particularly relevant. So if you are Sagittarius rising in Vedic, yeah, you are the same rising sign as the United States. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. You are the same. Yeah, so you're going to be experiencing very similar themes. What does this deal with? Family, home, real estate, moving, and mother. So if we think of what's going on right now, particularly with all these ice raids, you can see how that theme is playing out, which you guys will remember. You remember when I was warning about Saturn's transit into Sidereal Pisces in the fourth house of the USHR. I said, this is going to become a big theme. I think this has got a lot to do with ice. Look at what's happening. Yeah. So Sagittarius rising, this is the time to review, revise, reassess all things to do with home, real estate, homeland, even it also deals with that. This is also dealing with the mother as well, checking in with your mother, making sure that she's good, that she's okay. But it's not just that. If you're not just your mother, if you happen to be a mother yourself, this is also going to be a very important time for you, because you could be seeing a lot of changes in your family, in your circumstances. It's not the easiest transit yet for Sagittarians to have, because they're having quite a lot of upset and upheaval, because they may be okay, but there's a lot of change coming into their family's life, or there's a lot of reality checks. A lot of chickens might be coming home to roost, quite literally. But in terms of the positive, this might be a good time to kind of redecorate, restructure, put a extension on, or weatherproof your house or something like that. Yeah. And maybe look as well at your home insurance as well. That just came to me as well. Home insurance. Saturn deals a lot with things like that. Assurance, accounting, So make sure, check your home insurance and how that is working, yeah, so you don't have any surprises there. That's what I would say there for the Saggies. So next we're going to look at the Capricorns, and then of course Aquarius and Pisces. So the Capricorns, so let's see if 49 40, let's put that. So for Capricorns, this is happening in your third house. What's the general themes? Siblings, learning, media, communication, and the self-employed. So Capricorns, who are very business-oriented people anyway, this is really when you're going to be revise, reassessing what your self-employment status. What choices are you going to make for business in a very kind of dynamic and changing economy? The whole global economy is changing. And of course, a lot of things are changing as well in the United States. If you're Capricorn rising in Vedic and you're watching this and you happen to work in the travel industry as well, wow, massive adjustments, yeah, massive restrictions one is having to deal with. So this is a good time as well to review, revise, and reassess your business plans, business structures, your relationships as well with your siblings. You might be fine, but maybe some of your siblings are feeling a bit of pressure, yeah, because Saturn is pressure and is going retrograde. But this is also an excellent time as well to learn new skills, upskill. This third house also deals with languages as well, and this might be a good time to work on maybe a new marketing strategy or, you know, things like that. Review, revise, reassess. Yeah, makes sense? All right, so now let's look at Aquarius. Yep, at Aquarius. So here, 51, oops, gosh, I can't even write 51, and that was about 10. All right, so Aquarius, for all Aquarius rising or Aquarius moon, this is the Vedic positions. This is another important one. This is happening in the second house. Yes, Saturn's going retrograde in the second house. So this deals with family values, money, food, resources, and assets. Yeah, broad overview. Oof, this is a big one. Yeah, so there's a review, revise, reassess. So this is about being realistic about one's finances. You know, is there enough money coming in? Or maybe, for example, there may be some revenue streams or sources of income that seem to be drying up a little bit. Yeah, because the Saturn's going retrograde, he tends to cut off things. So like, for example, like if we just if we think one of the obvious things is that a lot of people are having their food stamps removed. Yeah, so maybe some of those kind of some of those people will obviously potentially be Aquarius rising. They could literally be getting a massive restriction. In fact, that's what I've been seeing actually on YouTube, because second house is also food. But this is also a great time if you're doing anything with the face. So if you're having a cosmetic procedure or you're having work done on your teeth, anything like that, yeah, second house goes from the eyebrows down to here. This is also to do with education, speech, and the voice. So this might be this is a time of reflection, review, reassessment. If there's something you want to change, maybe, this is the good time. That's more on that positive side. Great time as well for looking at your speech and just looking at your assets in general and making sure that they're up to snuff. Yeah. All right. So let's do, last but not least, Pisces. So just making that note now for Pisces, right? You guys are getting all of this Saturn return in the first house, which is what? You, yeah, the body. So here the general theme is personal / identity review, change of direction. So for the Pisces people, this really has been a very, very significant time because you've had the great awakening, as it were, happening in your first house. Yeah, that big stellium in Pisces. Now Saturn's going through your first house, but now going retrograde. So many of you will be looking to change your image, change your potential, your whole outlook on life. This could involve changing location, changing business, changing jobs, changing wardrobe. You might feel like you just want to change everything. Everything is under review. right now, yeah, because it's happening on this, in this very personal place in the first house. So there might be some reality checks that have inspired this, you know, where you've come to realize certain things about your life or people in your life, and you're like, wow, yeah, people have really shown their true colors. Or on the more positive side, it could be like, this might be when you're really getting in touch with what you truly want and you're not prepared to wait anymore. So if it's the latter, this is the time when you review, revise, reassess. So you make a plan. If you want to change country, if you want to change career, this is the time, yeah, to work on it. This restructure the CV. Look at all elements of your life. What can be removed, extricated, simplified? Yeah, simplified. It's a very profound placement, but if you get it right, it's really going to set you up very strongly in the future. Yeah, so I hope you guys found that very useful. So let's get some questions in. I quickly did a whistle stop tour through all the ascendants and the moons and all that kind of stuff. And let's see here. Tartan Spy says, how interesting. Saturn retrograde just about same length of time as my extension to my contract. I wonder if the hiring freeze in Massachusetts will let up in November. Interesting. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. And JB188 says, gone back to studying after a long break. There we go. Tammy's saying, hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Lama's saying, thanks, I can prepare for a week. I'll up my intake of fresh foods. Yes, indeed. Let's see here. Dolores says, I try not to think of the bad things happening around me in the US. My birthday is the 14th of July. I am a Gemini. How Saturn affect me at 67? Well, it affects everyone. Everyone. Of course, if people want personal readings and stuff, of course, you know where to find me. You know, my website, hogarthglobalastrology.com. So hop on with me if you want to kind of look at your life, review things, anything you want to look at, love, romance, career, health, I cover all these things. So I won't go so much into the personal ones because of course I'd have to extemporate quite a lot. Someone says here, Virgo, my yin took my yang and left the building. Oh, bless. And then someone here, Tartan Spy, saying, as a person born with a strong Saturn influence, Saturn should help me be helpful in making me more focused, disciplined even. I need to work on punctuality. I also need help finishing what I start. Absolutely. That's a very good time to work on those things. Saturn helps with all of those things. Oh, and someone said here, Marcia said, thank you. I've actually been considering volunteering with their ACLU recently. You see, it works. Yeah, it works, folks. It works. So let's give a little overview. I'm going to try and be as quick as I can. Let's do a quick overview of the United States. So let's do share screen. And then do entire screen. Let's do that. And then let's get, there we are. Let's get this here. Here you see I've got here Saturn retrograde. This is where the planets are right now. So just to give you an overview where they are right now, Saturn, of course, is in sidereal Capricorn. Yeah, and at 8 degrees 38 minutes retrograde. Moon, as I'm doing this, is in Aquarius, sidereal Aquarius, along with Rahu. Saturn is in sidereal Pisces, retrograde. So is Neptune, also retrograde. Remember, they're both together. This combination is very tricky for Russia. Yeah, tricky combination for Russia. But global governments around the world, because rules and regulations seem to be breaking down. Chiron is currently in Aries. Uranus is now at 6 degrees of sidereal Taurus. Yeah, someone was giving you the astrological weather here. Still quite close to that star Algol, but moving off. Remember, the star Algol is around about 1.5 degrees. And you can count 3 as a close orb, but 5 degrees definitely still counts. So this theme of betrayal, upheaval, backstabbing, career changes, and all of this kind of stuff is still quite evident with Uranus. Venus is currently in Taurus in her own sign. She's in the nakshatra Rohini. So this is actually a great time for sensuality and beauty, believe it or not. Jupiter is in sidereal Gemini along with the sun. Yeah, so anyone born today will have this configuration. Their sun sign will be Gemini, at least for a few more days. And here we've got Mercury is in the sign of Cancer, Mars is in Leo in Purva Falguni, and K2 is in Leo as well, also in Purva Falguni. These two, unfortunately, they can also deal with acts of terror and just intensity, stuff like that, rebellion, things blowing up, fires and all that stuff. But this can also be a very spiritual combination as well. Let's take a quick look at the chart of the USA, and then where am I going here? What am I looking at? What am I doing here? 1 minute. I've got myself a bit confused, discombobulated. Let's do file open, and that's it. New global astrology, that's the one. And then let's go here, country. Where is it? USA Declaration of Independence. There we are. All right. So you've heard me talking about the USA chart, just so you can see here. The USA, according to Vedic astrology, is a Sagittarius rising. I use the 4th of July, 1776, 6:30 p.m. Philadelphia time. Today is the 7th of July, 2025. So, of course, working out from that, America is now 249 years old. Next year is the 250th year of America's inception, as it were. I know some people talk about other charts and, oh, this and such and such wasn't ratified until that point, but this is when America was born, and I find this chart works incredibly well. So if we see here, it means Saturn. If we look over here where it says TR, that means transits. This is where the planets are right now, which I just showed you on the bigger chart. If we look here, we see Saturn is at 7 degrees 41 minutes, yeah, in the 4th house, with Chiron, which is the wounded healer. So what does that mean? It means that a lot of Americans are feeling heart heavy right now. 4th house is also the heart chakra. It really is. It really is like the heart chakra. It deals with mother. It deals with real estate. It deals with homeland. It deals with family. Saturn is what? Review, revise, reassess. He also deals with what? Restrictions, separations, distances. So of course, as we know with these raids that are playing out right now, for many, many people in America, this is playing out literally. Yeah, families are literally being torn apart. But this is also a reality check. Yeah, a reality check for many, many, many people, particularly in terms of USA, homeland, etc. You know, issues with tourism and all this stuff. So look, it's not exactly the most happy time right now, is it? Bless. This is also the back end of Sati as well, which can mean 7 years of trials. And that's when Saturn is one sign from the moon, with the moon, or one sign after. Saturn is currently in Sidereal Pisces. So this too shall come to an end. Yeah. But it's still very much in this energy. And this Saturn retrograde is actually getting closer to this moon rather than moving away in the USA chart. So many, many, many people in America are having to review, revise, reassess, yeah, their situations with their family, with their loved ones. This could be the separations that have happened because of politics and the family. Yeah, this could be quite literal for people where they are literally losing family members, or family members are being snatched off the streets. Yeah, I'm seeing so many examples of this. Trump has just given ICE even more money. What is it, over 100 billion or something like that? Can't remember how much he's given to ICE. Let me just see here if I can actually. Oh, what am I doing? Let me just see. Let me just type in. How much has Trump awarded ICE in the big bill? Let's just have a look. Is Iris saying here, wow, is it really that much? Okay, so if we look here, let me just, God, is it really that much? Gee whiz, let me just share this with you, because this is to make it, to kind of bring it home as to this Saturn retrograde in the 4th house. Entire screen, let's do that, share. Oh, no, that was the wrong one, forgive me. Stop share, it's supposed to be a tab. Share screen, where is it? I just, the number's even more shocking than I thought. So this is Politico. I don't know their political affiliation, but look at this. Trump got 170 billion for immigration. Now he has to enact it. Even with the new cash, ICE could face challenges to meet the White House's goal of 1 million annual deportations. Oh my God. So do you see here how it plays out? Saturn in the 4th house of what? Homeland, family, the mother. Yeah, mothers are even being detained, as which we've seen. Look at this. I won't dwell too long on this because I know it's a bit of a Debbie Downer. President Donald Trump's mega bill with 170 billion for border and immigration enforcement squeaked through Congress after days of promises and arm twisting and implicit threats to wavering members. Now the clock is ticking to spend the money. So it's saying a Trump administration has 3.5 years to drastically expand the nation's border enforcement and deportation infrastructure, a massive logistical challenge for which there is no easy comparison. It must hire and train thousands of new immigration officials, secure contracts to ramp up detention capacity, and expand the immigration court system. I will leave it there because it's almost too grim to even contemplate. But do you see the reality of how this is playing out? How there are many families that are being torn apart, that are having this rude awakening with this energy of the Bhadrapadas, yeah, these flashes of insights, but also having to go deep and realizing the impact of one's choices upon the collective. Do you see how that's all playing out in these themes? And now, as you can see there, from according to Politico, it's saying that 170 billion is in the budget now. So this isn't going to be something that's going to be kind of like coming back. So rewinding. So let's just pull some cards on that. Let's end with a bit of a card. I've already run over a little bit, but I had to cover the ascendants. And let's just see where this eye stuff is going. For those that are feeling the heaviness of the situation, I empathize with you. I'm feeling it as well. I'm trying not to doom scroll, but it's very difficult because, you know, you subscribe to certain channels and you're just bombarded from every corner with grim Trump stuff. But I'm going to pull 3 cards. But this is a great time for review, revise, reassess as well, and going deep. Great time for spiritual work, especially. And volunteering, helping others. If you're feeling in the doldrums, help someone. Yeah, go do a bit of volunteering or help at a food packing, not food packing, but you know, like a food bank or something like that. Or it might even just be giving advice and comfort to friends and family. Yeah, let's pull 3 cards to see what's going on here with the eyes stuff. What's the direction of travel with that? Direction of travel. Let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. All right, if we look here, we see this is kind of making the offer a kind of sweet offer, but this can also be a card of deceit and seduction. So there's some kind of offer that is being put forward here. If we look, we have the world. Yeah, we've got the world card showing up, and this is talking about it can talk about the completion of a cycle. The completion of a cycle. This can also talk about obviously all the stuff going on with world trade. And then when we look here, we get the 3 of Cups, which is talking about celebration and coming together. Oh, this be that someone comes up with a new offer? I don't think it's necessarily, well, Elon is giving it a try, but this can also be a card of seduction. Yeah. Could this be he's trying to come up with a new offer for Americans to maybe bring some kind of cycle to an end? I'm not pinning my hopes on Elon, by the way, but I'm just looking at the cards. And there's this element of celebration. Maybe he might be able to draw people in. Let me just, I have to kind of pull a few more cards on that. This could also be, though, in the positive. Could this be as a reaction to all this ICE stuff that we have new politicians that come wanting to offer something better? Could that be it? Let's get some clarifiers here. Let's get some clarifiers on this. Ah, right. So here, if we look, we've got the 5 of Cups, which can deal with disillusionment, unhappiness. Yeah. So what this is saying to me is that I think this is Elon coming forward with his offer in this attempt to bring a cycle to an end, or maybe Trump's stance in the White House. Initially, some people might feel excited by that, but it may not come to anything. And particularly when you see here this wand of entrepreneurship, King of Wands, that can also talk about Elon as well. Or is it someone else who comes up with something? Oh, I've got to pull a clarifier again now on that King of Wands. I think this is going to mean a lot of political change, guys. We're going to get a lot of people coming out of the woodwork, making all sorts of offers. Some of them may be good, some of them maybe not so much, but I think there's going to be lots of offers. Let's see here. Okay. Clarify that King of Wands. What's going on? Ah, I think this is talking about Elon. Look, the clarification on that King of Wands, illusion and delusion. Nah, I wasn't expecting that, but basically this is talking about Elon's kind of America party. People may initially celebrate, but then they're going to be disappointed. It's hard to get a two-party system going in the United States. That's Elon here, and it's showing that he's a bit delusional. Let's see what we can do for something positive changes, yeah? Positive changes in America. What do the cards have to say about that? What advice can we give people watching of how they can improve things? And I'm going over a bit. I'll go till 1:15. What can people do? What can people do? Oops. Let's take a look. Just pull 3 cards. Ah, look at this. Much more positive cards. So here, the advice is this is about cultivating and developing your internal strength. Yeah, finding grace in difficult times, going deep, digging within. This is also talking as well, quite literally, can literally be talking about the strength of women as well. So this is about finding inner strength and fortitude in these testing times. If we look here, we get the Knight of Pentacles. This card talks about the loyal and steady knight. Yeah, so this is about consistency, strength and consistency, persevering. The Knight of Pentacles is a card about perseverance. This is also as well being fiscally kind of prudent as well, obviously. But if we look here, we get the 7 of Pentacles, which is about reaping what you sow in terms of what you invest in. What this tells me is going forward, because people are having to dig deep, yeah, especially those that are experiencing a lot of adversity right now, because the shadow of the Knight of Pentacles is the mercenary. So think ICE, yeah, are mercenaries. But what this is going to do is this is going to change how the electorate votes. They're really actually going to start looking at their vote now and recognizing that what you sow, you reap. How you vote will also determine what you get back. So I suppose if there's one positive out of this, the adversity is people are having to use their strength. People are actually going to learn the strength of their family bonds and relationships, whether they're strong or maybe they're a lot weaker than they may have thought. But either way, people are having to dig deep. They're dealing with the mercenaries that are coming, but this is also requiring fiscal discipline as well, which obviously doesn't help the economy so much because it's a spend economy. But in the future, people will look much, much more closely at what they invest in, what they put their energy into, and how they vote. So maybe that might be one positive out of all of this madness. There will be people waking up. I will leave it there. Otherwise, I'll go on indefinitely forever. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me this evening. Almost 500 of you join me live, which is quite a surprise because I wasn't expecting that. But look, it's 1:15, 15 minutes past, so I'm going to stop it there. I'm not going to witter on too long. Thank you so much. I hope you guys found that useful. And membership, I'm going to try and do something a little bit more in-depth for you guys, or just something with a little bit of a twist and a little kind of private video. I will leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone. Please be sure, of course, to like and subscribe. And if you would like a consultation with me, click on my website, which is in the information, Hogarth Global Astrology. All right. Bye-bye for now. Cheers.